श्री महाभारत कथा। श्री महाभारत कथा। महाभारत कथा। कथा है पुरुषार्थ की, ये स्वार्थ की, परमार्थ की, सारथी जिसके बने श्री कृष्ण भारत पाथ की। शब्द दिग्घोषित हुआ जब सत्य सार्थक सर्वथा। शब्द दिग्घोषित हुआ। यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत, अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य, तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्, परित्राणाय साधूनां, विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां, धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे।
Then Takshaka sent to the king some snakes in the guise of ascetics, taking with them fruits, kusa, grass, and water as presents. And Takshaka, addressing them, said, "Go ye all to the king, on the pretext of pressing business, without any sign of impatience, as if to make the monarch only accept the fruits and flowers and water, that ye shall carry as presents unto him." Nimidantau. And they took to the king kusa, grass, and water, and fruits. And that foremost of kings, of great prowess, accepted those offerings. The particular fruit within which Takshaka had entered was taken by the king himself for eating. And when he was eating it, there appeared, O Sanaka, an ugly insect out of it, of shape scarcely discernible, of eyes black and of coppery color. And the foremost of kings, taking that insect, addressed his counselors, saying, "The sun is setting. Today I have no more tear from poison. Therefore, let this insect become Takshaka and bite me, so that my sinful act may be expiated and thee." Words of the ascetic rendered true. Neen Dao Dao. And quickly coiling round the king's neck and uttering a tremendous roar, Takshaka, that lord of snakes, bit that protector of the earth. And hearing the roar of Takshaka, the ministers all fled. And as they were flying away in great grief, they saw Takshaka, the king of snakes, that wonderful serpent, coursing through the blue sky like a streak of the hue of the lotus, and looking very much like the vermilion-colored line on a woman's scalp, crown dividing the dark masses of her hair in the middle. And the mansion in which the king was living blazed up with Takshaka's poison, and the king himself fell down, as if struck by lightning. And when the king was laid low by Takshaka's poison, his counselors with the royal priest, a holy Brahmana, performed all his last rites. And the people called their new king, that slayer of all enemies, that hero of the Kuru race, by the name of Janamejaya. And the ministers of the youthful monarch, beholding that he could now keep his enemies in check, went to Suvarnavarman, the king of Kasi, and asked him his daughter Vapushtama for a bride. And the king of Kasi, after due inquiries, bestowed with ordained rites his daughter Vapushtama on that mighty hero of Kuru race. And gifted with great energy, he wandered in pursuit of pleasure, with a cheerful heart, on expanses of water and amid woods and flowery fields. Meanwhile the great ascetic Jaratkaru wandered over the whole earth, making the place where evening fell his home for the night. And gifted with ascetic power, he roamed, practicing various vows difficult to be practiced by the immature, and bathing also in various sacred waters. And one day he saw the spirits of his ancestors, heads down, in a hole by a cord of Virana roots, having only one thread entire. And Jaratkaru, approaching the pitiable one, himself in humble guise, asked them, "Who are ye hanging by this cord of Virana roots? Seeing you with faces downwards, and overtaken by this great calamity, my pity hath been excited. What good can I do to you? Tell me quickly whether this calamity can be averted by a fourth, a third, or even by the sacrifice of a half of this my asceticism. Oh, relieve yourselves even with the whole of my asceticism." Petrus said, "Venerable Brahmachara, thou desirest to relieve us. But, O foremost of Brahmanas, thou canst not dispel our affliction by thy asceticism. E'en, O child, O first of speakers, we too have the fruits of our asceticism. But, O Brahmana, it is for the loss of children that we are falling down into this unholy hell. We are rishis of the Yayavara sect, of rigid vows. And, O Muni, from loss of children, we have fallen down from a sacred region. The unfortunate one has gone through the Vedas and their branches, and is practicing asceticism alone. He being one with soul under complete control, desires set high, observant of vows, deeply engaged in ascetic penances, and free from greed for the merits or asceticism. If thou meetest him, O tell him, from thy kindness to ourselves, thy Petrus in sorrow are hanging with faces downwards in a hole. Holy One, take a wife and beget children. O Brahmana, the cord of Virana roots that thou seest we are hanging by is the cord representing our multiplied race. The rat that thou beholdest is time of infinite strength. He being one with soul under complete control, desires set high, observant of vows, deeply engaged in ascetic penances, and free from greed for the merits or asceticism. O child, whether it is asceticism, or sacrifice, or whatever else there be of very holy acts, everything is inferior. These cannot count with a son." Jaratkaru, hearing all this, became excessively dejected, and from sorrow he spoke unto those Petrus in words obstructed by tears. The Petrus replied, saying, "O son, by good luck hast thou arrived at this spot in course of thy rambles. O Brahmana, why hast thou not taken a wife?" Jaratkaru said, "Ye Petrus, this desire hath always existed in my heart, that I would, with vital seed drawn up, carry this body to the other world. No, my mind hath been possessed with the idea that I would not take a wife. But ye grandsires, having seen you hanging like birds, I have diverted my mind from the brahmacharya mode of life. I will truly do what you like. I will certainly marry, if ever I meet with a maiden of my own name." And going into the forest, he wept loudly in great grief. And having gone into the forest, the wise one, moved by the desire of doing good to his ancestors, said, "I will ask for a bride," distinctly repeating these words thrice. And he said, "Whatever creatures are here, mobile and immobile, so, whoever there be that are invisible, oh, hear my words. My ancestors, afflicted with grief, have directed me that am engaged in the most severe penances, saying, Marry thou for acquisition of a son, nay, descending." And the king of the snakes, hearing their words, took with him that maiden decked with ornaments, and went into the forest unto that rishi. And O Brahmana, Vasuki, the king of the snakes, having gone there, offered that maiden as alms unto that high-souled rishi. And the rishi, thinking her not to be of the same name with himself, and seeing that the question of her maintenance also was unsettled, reflected for a few moments, hesitating to accept her. Then Vasuki spake unto the rishi Jaratkaru these words, "O best of Brahmanas, this maiden is of the same name with thee. She is my sister, and hath ascetic merit. I will maintain thy wife. Accept her. Nanantanda. Ganisheri. Ho." And the rishi replied, "This is agreed between us that I shall not maintain her, and she shall not do aught that I do not like." "No," Then that first of mantra-knowing Brahmanas, observing rigid vows, that virtuous and veteran ascetic, took her hand presented to him according to Shastric rites. And taking his bride with him, adored by the great Rishi, he entered the delightful chamber set apart for him by the king of the snakes. And the excellent Rishi made an agreement with his wife, saying, "Nothing must ever be done or said by thee that is against my liking. And in case of thy doing any such thing, I will leave thee and no longer continue to stay in thy house." Yea. And the excellent Rishi made an agreement with his wife, saying, "Nothing must ever be done or said by thee that is against my liking. And in case of thy doing any such thing, I will leave thee and no longer continue to stay in thy house."
सीख हम बीते युगों से नए युग का करे स्वागत करे स्वागत करे स्वागत करे स्वागत।
भारत की है कहानी